Instead of putting in the comments, I decided I should just read the rest of Freemasonry and Women. And remember, there's the Eastern Star, which I talked plenty about. But it's important that you truly understand how this feminism gets mixed up with Masonry and how liberals and conservatives are both part of Masonry. Okay, anyway, where was I? Okay. Having failed to achieve acceptance from any Masonic governing body, she and George Martin started a mixed Masonic lodge that actually worked Masonic ritual. Annie Besant spread the phenomenon to the English-speaking world. Disagreements over ritual led to the formation of exclusively female bodies of Freemasons in England, which spread to other countries. Meanwhile, the French had reinvented adoption as an all-female lodge in 1901, only to cast it aside again in 1935. The lodges, however, continued to meet, which gave rise in 1959 to a body of women practicing continental Freemasonry. In general, continental Freemasonry is sympathetic to Freemasonry amongst women, dating from the 1890s when French lodges assisted the emergent co-Masonic movement by promoting enough of their members to the 33rd degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite to allow them in 1899 to form their own Grand Council recognized by the Continental Ground Councils of that rite. The United Grand Lodge of England issued a statement in 1999 recognizing the two women's Grand Lodges there to be regular in all but the participants. While they were not therefore recognized as regular, they were part of Freemasonry in general, in quotations. The attitude of most regular Anglo-American Grand Lodges remains that women Freemasons are not legitimate Masons. Okay, so maybe I should read you about the Eastern Star to truly get you to understand. Well, why not? Let's just do it. Eastern Star. Okay. The order of the, this is from easternstar.org. Our history. Dr. Robert Morris, the poet laureate of Masonry, founded this order using beautiful and inspiring biblical examples of heroic conduct and moral values. These portray the noble principles which should adorn the personal lives of Eastern Star members. Eastern Star strives to build an environment for our members in order which is truly dedicated to charity, truth, and loving kindness by uplifting each other and through service in our communities. The Order of the Eastern Star was founded by Dr. Rob Morris in the late 1800s as a master mason. Dr. Morris had the idea that it would be nice to have a way for female relatives of master masons to share the benefits of knowledge and self-improvement that masonry made available to men, and to have a place in the Masonic family that would allow men and women to participate together. Dr. Morris and his wife Charlotte worked on the idea of a Masonic fraternal order for master masons and their female relatives for many years in 1850. Dr. Morris selected the biblical heroines and the lessons and values of the order. He established the signs and passes, colors, and emblems of the order and defined the fundamental principles which may have remained unchanged throughout the years. The first ceremony book for the order was compiled and published under the title of The Rosary of the Eastern Star. In 1866, Dr. Morris became associated with Mr. Robert McCoy, who took over the planning and organization of the Order of the Eastern Star. In 1867 and 1868, Mr. McCoy compiled and published a ritual using Dr. Morris's Rosary as a guide. This was the beginning of the organization of chapters of the Order of the Eastern Star in the United States as well as internationally. He immediately attempted to make the work more systematic and succeeded in adapting it to organize chapters in such a way as to assure their success. The first grand chapter of the Order of the Eastern Star was organized in Michigan in 1867. The Grand Chapter of California was organized in 1868 and celebrated 125 years of the Order in California in 1993. We will celebrate 150 years of the Order in California in 2018. Our Grand Chapter began having annual sessions in 1873. As at the time of launching this website in 2013, the Order was preparing for the 140th session of the Grand Chapter of California. Now, it's important to note that the Nation of Islam started in Detroit, Michigan. And Detroit, Michigan is known for its race riots. A lot of Klan members found their way to Michigan. And so when you say, what did they say it was 18... Okay, the first Grand Chapter of the Order of the Eastern Star were organized in Michigan in 1867. So for it to be organized in Michigan in 1867 shows you that this was a white racist organization. There's no question about that. Not even the slightest question about it. And especially if you understand that the Ku Klux Klan, part of their goals was to keep black people out of Masonry. So, you know, if you look at Bobby White, that's her name. Okay, a woman named Bobby White. I mean, who looks like an evil witch. I'll show you in a second. This perfectly proves what I'm saying. A, that this is a feminist organization. Her name is spelled B-O-B-B-I. Okay, a woman with a unisex name, if you will. Another way to look at it is a woman with a man's name, with short hair, and her last name is White. Then you have this John E. Krobler, most worthy grand patron. Okay, so and he basically looks like how you'd expect a magician, you know, someone who does magic tricks to look like, you know. So let me show you this. Okay, you see what I mean by she looks like a witch? You see what I mean by he looks like someone who does magic tricks? Okay, so now that I have time, Wicca is basically, you know, this religion that talks about Gaia and, you know, Mother Earth, and, you know, it's, you know, one claim is that it makes women and men, you know, equal as far as their spiritual value, which is bullshit. It's definitely leaning toward the female. I mean, it's practiced by feminists. They do witchcraft, and they don't even apologize for it. Oh, that's another thing. I want to get to that. Eliphas Levi, right? Eliphas Levi was a French occult author and ceremonial magician. Okay, and he comes up with the image of the Baphomet, right? Well, one of the images of the Baphomet in Dogma Ritual de la Haute Magique, 1856. Now, if you look at, you know, he has the horned Baphomet, the witch hunts. Okay, this basically there was a theory of witch hunts having truth to it, which they claim was debunked. I would argue that that's ridiculous. If you look at the timeline of witchcraft, and then you look at when the witch hunts took place. Okay. In the 1700s, you know, and before 1750, okay, 1400, 1700, you had 70,000 to 100,000 people executed for witchcraft, okay? Now let me pull this up. Now if you look at Wicca, right? Damn, I'm running out of time already on this shit? Okay. I wanted to get into the fucking timeline. I don't have enough time to touch all this shit. I'll only give you a little bit of the timeline. Alright. Old English wick is witch, and Wicca, wizard. Okay? What the fuck is a fucking cash, man? Waste my time. Wow, okay, here we go. So in the 1920s and 30s, the Egyptologist Dr. Margaret Murray published several books detailing her theories that those persecuted as witches during the early modern period in Europe were not, as the persecutors had claimed, followers of Satanism, but adherents of a surviving pre-Christian pagan religion, the witch cult. These hypotheses, which were argued by academics for decades, have since been widely rejected. Damn it, I'm out of fucking time. I really don't want to make another video, but maybe I will. We'll see.